Hey everybody, it is Prince's Friend, and I am back with another review. We're on the weekend now. This was supposed to all be in 1 week, but this week just kind of flew by. But I'm going to go ahead and get these reviews out for you. The one I'm doing today is for Schizophrenic by JC Chasez. Now, if the name sounds familiar, but you can't really figure out who JC Chasez is, he was a member of NSYNC, and he sang co-lead vocals right alongside Justin Timberlake on Bye 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 and all their other great songs. Justin is actually quoted as saying that JC was the real musician of the group, he was the better singer, and he kind of acknowledged that JC definitely deserved a shot. The problem, though, is that Justin Timberlake went on to be widely accepted as a solo act, but Schizophrenic was JC Chasez's debut and only album that he was able to get released. It was met with mixed reviews, some great, some pretty darn awful. I personally liked it quite a bit, and there's a few reasons for that. The album was made primarily with live instruments, which was only enhanced a bit with some electronics and stuff like that. And JC said on several occasions that Prince was the main inspiration for his solo style. So listening to the music and the lyrical content and stuff, when we get into it, it'll be pretty clear without him even having said so explicitly. Schizophrenic came out in 2004, and it peaked at number 17 on the Billboard 200, which is actually pretty good for such a poorly selling album because it only sold 121,000 copies, and that's super disappointing. However, JC Chasez attempted to do what some other pop acts don't do. He created an album that hit several genres. It didn't just find one thing that worked and stayed in its lane. He played with new beats, he borrowed from others, he paid homage to his inspirations, and he really tried to create something that wasn't just a cookie cutter pop album, and in that he succeeded immensely. He also co-wrote and co-produced all of the songs, which is also pretty good. So let's get into those tracks, and then we'll see if you like them.
Some girls dance with women, knowing that it gets some attention. I wanna get in with them, so pass me a drink and let's roll. Some girls dance with women, knowing that it gets some attention. I wanna get in with them, so pass me a drink and let's go.
So this was the lead single from the album, and the first one that I had actually heard of his solo stuff as well. It's a really good song, perfect for dancing at the club. It plays with some sexual innuendo as well. It's a song about women who like to dance with each other as a way to attract men to them, which obviously works. That said, the song actually met with a little bit of criticism from the LGBTQ community at the insinuation that the women couldn't just be lesbians and have no need for a man. Maybe they're just dancing with each other for no reason. But I don't know, I mean, I think the fact that the song is literally called Some Girls and not All Girls, I think it gives them a pass. So, on the whole though, I dug this song a lot, and it was actually the reason that I picked up the album.
What am I supposed to do, girl? I can't deny. She was traveling through space and time. I've been trapped on this world of mine. Came down from nowhere, you're blowing my mind, yeah.
So She Got Me actually strikes me as an homage to Michael Jackson. It hits the same feel as Off the Wall for me. That's a compliment because I think it takes that kind of old sound and it really updates it to modern pop sensibilities without losing its funk. There's also the ooh, 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 ooh part in the back, it pops up, and you know, I love stuff like that. JC Chasez's ad-libbing at the end also sounds just like MJ. On the whole, I think it's a really good song to come in second. Some Girls seemed directly inspired by Prince, whereas She Got Me seemed inspired by MJ, so I think right here he was kind of saying like who his main influences are and paying homage to them. So it's a good track.
Speak your mind 100 ways. It's better for you. Don't be ashamed. Just speak your mind. Tell me what you like. Don't hold back now. Time to play. Trip through the hallways 'cause we started in the shower. We didn't finish.
Then 100 Ways jumps in as third track, kind of saying, yeah, those were my inspirations, but now it's my time. And this has like a rock groove to it. JC plays with his range a bit in a really fun way. He kind of goes up and down. Obviously, the song is about the 100 ways in which you can have sex in a single night. And as they run from one location to another in the house, I really like the lines where he's like, we drip through the hallways because we started in the shower. Because the lyrics paint that picture perfectly, and I think he does a good job with that. On the whole, it's a great song to kind of sum up what JC was kind of going for with his own style.
No, 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 I need mercy. You see insanity eating up the man in me, girl, I need mercy. All of my fires, my burning desires for you, see, I need mercy. And it's just so painful to sit here and think about you with the photo.
So JC brings in a pretty interesting electronic reggae feel on this next track. Another departure from the album so far. It's a song about seeing someone you want with someone else and hoping that one day they'll show you mercy and be with you instead. There's a really pretty part about halfway through the song that's the breakdown, and honestly I kind of wish that was the whole song, but it's pretty good.
I need to build my world around. I'll be the lonely one until I find someone.
So I think Build My World does a really good job of showing JC's vocal stylings. I've said before that ballads can make or break a singer for me, and this song is executed really well. It starts soft and builds to a great climax at the end, like ballads should, and the simple beat and the keyboards combo really keep you focused on his voice, lets you hear how clear and sweet it is.
Babe, I've been dying to tell you something. Ooh, 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 yeah. You're something special, sugar. I can't get enough of your love. Cause you give me fever, darling. Ooh, 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 yeah. Cause you're something special, something special.
And then we get to Something Special, which starts off with an acoustic guitar accompanied by some claps, but then the rest of the music comes in and it becomes a song I'd expect to hear from like Sheryl Crow or something. It's like light rock that again is different than the rest of the stuff that's on the album so far. The lyrics are cool, just a simple kind of love song telling a girl how special she is. Not my favorite on the album, but it's definitely a good showing that JC can pretty much handle whatever kind of song you want to throw at him.
Baby, I want you, I need you to feel you. I will love you all night strong. See if you were my girl. Yeah. Tell me that you want me to please you, cause I need you. I will love you all night strong. See if you were my girl.
Now this one is one of my favorites though. It's sexy, it's funky, it's got a little bit of electronic in there. JC sings it amazingly and it's got all the right elements to me. If You Were My Girl literally says, hey, come and have sex with me in a multitude of different ways. And you know what? Ain't nothing wrong with a good sexy song at all. And I think this one could stand the test of time. I think it's a really good one. Probably one of the best on the entire album.
Shake it, do it, give me what you got. Oh, shake it, do it, give me what you got. Shake it, do it, give me what you got. Oh, shake it, do it, give me what you got.
So when I listen to Shake It, I can totally hear it like in a club, people bumping and grinding to it. The beat drives the song, but it's not a fast track. It's mid-tempo, but feels more aggressive than others at the same speed. I don't know, it's weird. The vocals aren't as crazy as the rest of the tracks, where he's not going all up and down and going crazy. This is more of a subdued vocalization on this track, and I think it serves the music and the mood better. It's supposed to be like a seduction song, so you don't need to be like belting out the whole time. But it's a really good track.
All day long I dream about sex, and all night long I think about sex, and all the time I think about sex with you. All day long I dream about sex, and all night long.
And this was the second single off the album. It did fail to chart in the US, sadly, and honestly, I really understand why. This doesn't show off his vocals, it doesn't show off his musicianship, or anything great about JC Chasez. The chorus is just him shouting and chanting, and it just doesn't sound good. I would have gone with Shake It, personally, but All Day Long I Dream About Sex feels like right out of the 80s to me, with like a steady beat, light guitar, really heavy on the keyboards. So it also feels kind of out of its era, but it's not necessarily a bad song. I don't know, I usually skip it.
I'm gonna take you on a ride, make you wanna jump and kiss the sky. I'm gonna take you 40,000 high, just cause you're my girl tonight. Just relax, baby, don't be shy, cause it's a feeling that you can't deny. I'm gonna keep you steady, satisfied, just cause you're my girl tonight.
On this track, JC brings in some more kind of Prince, Morris Day swagger here. I really like One Night Stand. Basically, in between the verses, it's him talking to a girl, upping himself like he's God's gift to women, and kind of making fun of himself. I think this one is my favorite.
Thinking, it's kind of crowded. You wanna get out of here?
Yeah, cause you're so smooth.
Yeah, I know.
And even though he's kind of a joke, he gets the girl in the end. It's pretty great. And again, obviously inspired by, you know, Prince and Morris Day. There's also some like sexy sounds in the background. I think it's a great song that really kind of appeals to friends like us.
The nights when you don't call, my life is a catastrophe. I need to feel you close to me. I'm waiting out the storm, cause when I'm all alone.
So Come To Me has more of the electronic thing that JC was going for earlier. It starts off with kind of a Sweet Dreams by the Eurythmics kind of beat going in, which again changes up the style that he's doing. This song is great for me though, mostly because of the harmonizing during the chorus, and I think this is another subtle vocal song for him, so playing with these little tricks and stuff really helps the song stand out. Again, it borrows from obvious influences, but also kind of takes that and it made it his own. By this point, I was totally sold on JC Chasez, and I'm hoping that you're ending up liking this stuff as well.
Crying, desperate, fighting questions, scared to let go. You used to be so beautiful, but the days go by and things get better.
Then we jump to a gorgeous acoustic song, one that is, again, quite different than the other songs that we've heard. It's actually a sad song about breaking up. He sings it great with lots of highs and lows in his range, and it's emotionally impactful for sure. You can feel his pain as he screams out his sadness, and I think it makes it a really awesome track.
Everything you want, you just get out of it. Everything you want, you just get out of it. Everything you want, you just get out of it. Everything you want, you just get out of it.
Then we come back to the electronic reggae sound with Everything You Want, but this one feels a little bit more danceable than earlier. Best thing about the song is that it's an introspective track where JC is evaluating his sexual drive and finding that it is actually just him compensating for losses elsewhere in his life. It's danceable and deep, so you don't usually get that a whole lot. Most people will just dance to it, I bet, though, so it's a good track in my opinion.
I'm not unconscious, walking on water, cause I'm thinking of you. And don't you know that love's intoxicating and I need the abuse. Because I'm endlessly falling, you're my destiny calling, what you're making me do.
So this is actually kind of a continuation of Everything You Want, thematically. It's a slower song, really pretty, but it's about how you can lose yourself in a relationship until you kind of no longer are yourself. The sound of it would make you think that it's a love song, but it's a tricky creature in that way. I really love the song for that reason, and because, again, the vocals are really well executed, and I think he kind of slays this song.
Girl, I'll be right here by your side. Give you all the love I've got to give.
my track. Right here, parentheses, By Your Side. It's interesting that he kind of tucked in the ending of this album, a bunch of sweet, kind of slower songs. To me, it feels like this is a, like, we're already friends, so let's give it a try. We already know everything about each other kind of song. Right Here By Your Side is a good track, though I don't know if it's one I would have ended the album on. I think Lose Myself, the track right before it, probably would have been the better choice personally, but it's actually short, and it's only off by one track, so I'm gonna give it a pass. So I think it's not that bad. So in conclusion, when I listen to the album all the way through, it becomes easier to tell where the issues were with this album. The name Schizophrenic is really accurate. JC Chasez wants to do everything, but that's not what people were expecting of him. He kind of jumps from electronic to acoustic to rock to funk to pop, and the hypersexual lyrics in some of the better tracks made it hard to kind of really market this. On top of all that, the second single that they picked was not a great follow-up to the first one, which was actually really, really good. So I think it would have been better serviced had it been stripped down from 15 tracks to maybe 10 or 11 and really kind of focused it a little bit more. If they had done that, I bet we'd be talking about JC Chasez's third or fourth album by now. In any case, I am actually a really big fan of this album, and if he ever does come out with another album, I'll definitely buy it. I would probably give it a 4 on a scale from 1 to 5, because I really liked it. But what do you guys think? Let me know down in the comments. Also, don't forget to check us out on social media: Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, Patreon. Also check out our Redbubble store for cool shirts and mugs and all that stuff. And may you live to see the dawn.